Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Paranormal the New Normal presents Paranormal Primetime. That's right. This week is a interesting one. We got some revelations in the storyline, you could say, and we're just leading up to a fucking great week for next week with two season finale episodes, and we're leading up to one of the best seasons of Supernatural ever after this. So we got a good month coming for you, but. I am your host, Jeremy, as always, joined of course by the faithful Malachi by my side.
How's everybody doing?
And, well, shit, let's just get right into this, folks, because this is going to be a good one. And I'm dying to talk about, well, at least Malachi's episode for the most part. Mine's kind
Your
of.
episode was pretty good.
It was alright.
It was pretty good. Okay, so mine is season 4, episode 19, Jump the Shark. And it's written by Andrew Dobb and Daniel Laughlin. I'm not sure we've seen them right before.
We haven't.
And then directed by Phil Skrika, which I don't think we've seen either.
Oh, we've seen that name.
Well, look out for those guys, because this was a pretty good episode. And it starts off with a woman we don't really know who's like running through her house. She goes into her bedroom and she puts a dresser in front of her door. Something's chasing her the whole time. And then we see something's trying to get at her from the door, and then she's sucked under her bed and disappears. And at that point in time, we see a picture, which I didn't even notice it was John. I've been watching Walking Dead, so I'm used to the Negan when he's skinnier face, you know? And then my wife's just watching the Grey's Anatomy with him where he marries Izzy. So a lot of Negan for me this week. But we see a picture of John Winchester. Then we do a cutscene, and the Impala is parked by like some sort of shoreline. Sam's brushing his teeth. Dean's getting out of the car. He's sore from sleeping in the car or whatever. I don't really remember what they were leaving from last week. What was your last episode?
It was a good one, too. Oh, fuck. Motherfucker. Give me a minute here. I gotta find it again.
Yeah, we don't know if he's sore from last week or.
No. Last week they were doing the author. Like last week was the author episode. So the prophet. Okay. They didn't get any big fights in that one, really.
So Dean's just getting old, sleeping in the car. It's fucking with him.
Well, as he says in one of these two episodes, "I'm tired, Sam. I'm tired."
Yeah, that one's your episode.
And Harley, we know it's going to be on Hulu Max, so no worries. As soon as it leaves Netflix, it's going to Hulu and Max.
Okay, which means I'm going to have to delete Netflix from my phone and download Hulu. I think Hulu's more of a stickler with how many people can be on one account, too, aren't they?
No. Netflix is the one that was really cracking down on that.
Okay. So, while the boys are getting ready next to this beautiful beach they're parked in front of, they hear a phone ring and they realize it's not theirs. It's John, their dad's phone. So when they answer, they hear a young boy who tells him that he knew John, and John's the only person he knew, and he needs help. So then we find out that he says he's John's son. Dun, dun, dun. So the Sam and Dean, they drive over to meet this kid at Cousin Oliver's diner, and Dean is paranoid as fuck, thinks it's some sort of demon or shapeshifter or something. So when the water comes, he dumps all the water out, fills it with holy water. He's got his own silverware that's made out of silver that he lays down where the kid's going to sit. And then the kid comes in, introduces himself, And the whole time, Dean's got a gun pointed at the kid from underneath the table. So after that happened, a lot of Sam and Dean fighting in this episode. They find out what the kids want. His kid apparently, or their brother apparently, his mother went missing a couple days ago. The kid was up in college studying to be a doctor. So they go back to the house and they're sort of checking everything out. And that's when we find Dean sees scratch marks going under the bed. So
Well, you
Dean,
skipped the whole part. You skipped the whole scene in the diner where they're arguing over whether or not their dad could have another kid. And I love how Sam's like, a hunter saves a woman, a damsel in distress, and she's grateful. And Dean's like, now you got me thinking about dad sex.
yeah, they argue that quite a few about the kid off and on through the whole thing. So when Dean finds the scratch marks under the bed, they play rock, paper, scissors. Dean loses. So Dean's got to go check this air vent under the bed. And when he goes down there, he sees this spinal column and blood everywhere. And I think this is the first part where Sam and Dean start arguing about taking their brother in to be a hunter, because Dean says, Dad didn't tell us about this kid, didn't get this kid involved, he didn't want him to be a hunter. And Sam's arguing, well, he's a Winchester, demons are going to come after him, everybody's going to come after him to try to kill him, so we might as well train him.
And you skipped over one of the best lines in the whole fucking show when they go back to the apartment because the kid says he has proof, and he shows him a picture of him and John at a baseball game, and Dean's like, he took you to a baseball game?
Yeah, he was pretty pissed about that. What did Dad do with you?
This and that.
Okay, let me get. Yeah, here's the baseball game. Okay, so they don't really have any leads. They find out that 17 years ago there was a case with 17 grave robberies, and they find out John had it in his journal, but he ripped out the 2 pages afterwards. So there's no what they were doing or what he was hunting. All they know is that guy was there 9 months before their younger brother was born. And the MO was it was snatching dead bodies, not living people. So they have no idea what the hell's going on with that. They do find another picture of a missing person, which ends up being a bartender named Joe Barton. So, okay, yeah, Dean asks Adam their brother Adam if he knows who Joe is, and he says, no, I don't think my mom knows or anything. And that all happened before they went down in there. So they go to the motel room, and it's just Sam and Dean. They're cleaning their weapons, which I don't know why they're constantly oiling their shotgun when they didn't use it, like you said last week.
Yeah.
Constantly cleaning the guns.
I think it's just one of those habit things. Like, it's something that they do to make the time pass.
I think they show it to us just because it's badass, right? Well, in this scene, for example, the brother knocks on the door and he comes in and he says, you guys aren't fucking mechanics, are you? You found where the missing body was. And then this is where Adam starts begging them to help him hunt so he can avenge his mother. And at this point, after their little fight there. They tell him that like all monsters are real and all this shit. He's getting over that. Dean takes off, and we see him drive to a mortuary where the mortuary guy showing him around is trying to sell him a fucking death plot of his own. But he doesn't really see anything. He finds the liquid of embalming fluid, but he doesn't really find anything there. So I'm pretty sure. Give me a second. I gotta get caught back up here. Dean yells, "It doesn't matter, Sam." Okay, here we go. So then Dean goes to the bar where he shows after he gets a free drink, because the ladies are like, cops get a free first beer on the house, and Dean's like, "It's that obvious?" Not a cop, but Dean shows her the picture, and we find out that that was her husband. And they're going into the backstory. Dean's asking about the case 17 years ago with the corpses, and hit the old deputy bartender's wife is saying, "Yeah, he never really told me. He just told me there was a specialist involved in that case with him, and that's how he solved the case." And we flash back to the motel room where Sam is teaching Adam, their younger brother, how to use a gun. He gives him an empty gun and says, "Here, let's practice with this thing." So while this is happening, all of a sudden the power goes out in the motel room, and they hear the shit in the vent. Sam just shoots the fucking vent in the motel room, and then they run outside, and they're by Adam's car to try to get away. And this is where something attacks Sam from under the car and tries to pull him in. And Dean rolls up just in the nick of time. They save him. He backs the car up, and we see that there's a sewer manhole lid that's been opened. And this one's pretty interesting, but the kid asks, "Should we go down there and try to get him?" I didn't catch that till afterwards. Dean was able to shoot under the car after they got Sam, and the thing is like nicked. It's got blood everywhere. So we return to Adam, the younger brother's house, and Dean's telling him to get all of his shit. He's trying to drop him off with Bobby, and then they're going to come back and kill the thing. And this is another time where Sam starts arguing about the Winchester name, and he needs to learn how to do this because everything in its mother's going to come and try to kill this or kill their brother. Dean's just pissed off, so he runs off, driving the Nomad, goes back and checks the cemetery. When he noticed air blowing through one of the crypts, he pulls the fucking stones out, and it's a tunnel. He's going down in the tunnel, and then he hears the thing coming back in and shoots towards it through the tunnel and caves in the tunnel. So now he's like stuck in this catacomb. I guess not underground. They made it seem like it was underground, but he's stuck in a catacomb with nowhere to go. At this point, we flash back to Sam and his brother Adam getting his shit ready, and that's when they hear a noise after they bolt everything up. They salted the doors. They blocked all the windows. Sam says the only way for this thing to come in is through this air vent. And then they hear shit. It's Adam's mom. Adam runs to his mom, and he's got the shotgun. He says, "Shoot her, shoot her." But he doesn't know if he should shoot Sam or shoot his mom or what happens. And this is when we find out that Adam double-crossed Sam, and he's working with the monster that looks like Adam's mom. At that time, we're back in the tomb where Dean finds his brother and his brother's mom's dead corpse. So now we switch to Sam crucified to a fucking kitchen table, and they're doing the whole rundown. We find out they're ghouls, which I don't know if that ever comes back, right?
Ghouls will show up again. Yeah.
Okay. So this is why the silver didn't work, and this is why the holy water didn't work. It's because they're ghouls, which I guess typically only eat dead corpses, but the mom ghoul starts talking about how they were tired of eating dead corpses and how Sam and Dean's dad killed their father, so they came to get revenge and found out they like eating living people now. So they're cutting Sam up and drinking his blood, and he's got blood going into a bowl.
And they say his blood tastes different than the rest.
Oh, did he? I didn't catch that.
Yeah, Adam says his blood tastes different than everybody else's.
Okay, yeah, that'll come into effect in your. Well, we know Sam's been drinking demon blood, so like that's why it tastes different. And that's what I was saying about the manhole.
Yep.
Is he wanted to just take him down into that manhole because they were ready to kill him right then and there. I didn't catch that when it happened, but okay. So Dean's back at the mortuary. He busts open one of these coffins and grabs a metal bar that you use to carry the coffin. Smashes a top glass window, which I thought he was underground. I don't know why. All of a sudden, he's in a building with a glass window. He fucking pulls himself out of the window, drives back, knowing that, these aren't fucking, isn't his brother. And now, as Sam's getting cut up and drained of his blood, Dean rushes through and he shoots the one that looks like his brother. And Sam says something about headshots is the only way to kill him. So he shoots the woman ghoul in the face. And when he's untying Sammy, all of a sudden the brother ghoul comes and starts attacking him. It's a big fight scene, and then Dean ends up smashing his head, fucking Negan style, and with a candlestick or something. Dean unties him, wraps his shit up, tells him to put pressure on it. And then at the end, they are in the woods at night with their brother's body from the tomb, burning it because he went out like a hunter, being killed by a monster.
Yep.
And that was it. I'd give that one I'd give that a 4.5. It was a good episode. I liked both the episodes this week.
Yeah, I mean, I would give this one a 4. I wouldn't give it a 4.5. It's a 4. It's a pretty good episode. I mean, it adds a little bit of mystique to it. Brings in some of John's life, which is awesome. And there actually was a lot of drops in this one, like a lot of like little things they did for different reasons. When they go to the hotel, there's a place card for the hotel that says Kelsey Manor, and the K and the M are really big. And on the card is a photo of the director, Kim Manners, which is a dedication to Kim Manners. And
the guy who passed away on my last episode.
Yeah. And I mean, the episode title itself, Jump the Shark, which is
I thought that was a bad episode title.
Well, because it means the beginning of the end, because ever since it started off with the episode of Happy Days where Fonzie literally jumps a shark. Like that's considered the end of Happy Days, when like people knew it was going to be getting canceled soon, because it's when they're desperate. It's when Estrella is desperate for storylines and they're reaching out to find like the most outrageous storyline they could do. So
I'm not a fan of that. It was a good episode.
It was, but this one's called the beginning. But that means it's the beginning of the end, which this episode kind of is the beginning of the end for this season. So,
Yeah, they might want you to think so. There's still 10 more seasons to go, fellas.
well, but no, not for the show. It's like something as we know what happens at the end of the season, and we know what the hell it is. It's the end. But and also when Sam and Dean first go into the diner, there's a poster on the wall that's advertising the 21st annual Fonzarelli Water Skiing Championship. So it's a reference to that episode of Happy Days where he's jumping the shark.
Ah.
But and it's Cousin Oliver's Diner, which is a Brady Bunch reference because they added Cousin Oliver in the Brady Bunch as a way to try to save the show when all the kids were getting too old.
Have you seen the Brady's Bunch measles episode?
Probably when I was a kid, yeah. It's been I haven't watched Brady Bunch in 20 years.
It's funny watching like the Brady Bunch version of the measles where the kids are all happy and like, we got off from school. Dad got me comic books. And you watch like a measles episode of a show today and it's like, locked up in the hospital. 12 kids have died. Oh my God.
Also in this episode, Dean uses Agent Nugent as Ted Nugent, which was funny.
I caught that one.
I would hope so. But
well, most of them I don't.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I don't know who the drummer to Rush is. Come on.
And yeah, ghouls are. It made sense the ghouls having a lair in a crypt because I mean, in lore in real life, ghouls were always around cemeteries. Like that, they always that was always a thing. Like don't go to cemeteries at nights, or ghouls will get you.
Yeah, I thought it was a cool villain, like to just throw in for an episode. Obviously, you're not going to go off and fight them, but like most of the time, ghouls probably don't get fucked with because they're only eating dead bodies, right? So I wonder why John went after.
I'm sure he kills him. It's a creature. You got to kill it, but.
If it's not hurting anybody.
But it's time to go on to my episode, and I have a very awesome episode, season and number. It's season 4, episode 20. And so 420, folks. And it's called The Rapture. It was written by a very familiar name, Jeremy Carver, and directed by Charles Beeson, another familiar name. So you know it's a big episode when it's written by people we know. But the episode starts off in a very weird way. We see Dean sitting on a pier fishing, and which Dean doesn't fish. We never seen Dean fish in any episode ever.
And he seems so content. He's just sitting there like this with a huge smile on his face.
Which Dean's only content if he's getting laid or drinking. But Castiel all of a sudden appears next to him and says he has something important to tell Dean. Dean realizes he's dreaming, but Castiel warns him that even in his mind, someone may be listening, and he gives Dean an address to meet him at. We see Dean wake up in a hotel room, and like, what the fuck? And then there's a title scene. And we see them arrive at an old factory, big industrial building. And they walk through inside. It's obvious that there was a huge fight. The building's torn asunder, and there's blood everywhere. And when they get far enough in, they see symbols similar to the ones that were used in the previous episode we talked about weeks ago, Heaven and Hell, that Anna used to banish Castiel and Uriel, and they realize it was a battle of angels. And they find Castiel there, but passed out. But it's not Castiel. It's apparently Jimmy Novak, the man Castiel was possessing. And so Sam and Dean take Jimmy out to get food, and while he's eating his first meal in months, he tells Sam and Dean he knows nothing about what Castiel wanted to tell Dean, and that he has very few memories about being possessed. His only desire is to return to his wife and daughter. And we go back to a flashback of seeing how Jimmy, we see him with his family, making sure they all pray before they eat dinner, and we get the idea he's a very religious Christian man. And his wife's talking to him about how he's been hearing voices and she thinks he's going crazy. And he names the voice. His name is Castiel. He and we see in the next scene we see his wife run in while Jimmy has his hand in a pot of boiling water, and his wife starts freaking out, and Jimmy pulls it out, and he's like, "Look, I have not. It didn't hurt at all." He's like, "It's a sign."
Yeah, I
And
was pissed when she was trying to make him take the psych meds, and it's like, wasn't that enough proof for you, lady?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I'd feel if like my loved one started fucking talking like that, but uh, but yeah, his wife is fearing he's not right in the head, so she tells him to either go get help from a psychologist or start taking these medication. And he refuses and stands outside his front door, and he offers himself to Castiel's service. And under the only thing he asks of Castiel is that he makes sure that nothing happens to his wife and daughter. And Castiel agrees, so we see a golden light go around Jimmy, and Castiel has taken over Jimmy's body. His daughter comes out on the porch a minute later and says, "Daddy," and he replies, "I am," in Castiel's voice this time, "I am not your father," and walks away.
Yeah,
And we know at this point he doesn't come back for a year. But
that was pretty rough.
Well, angels have no emotions or humanly behaviors, so as we'll learn in the later episodes. But we go back to present time, and Sam's trying to convince Jimmy why he needs to stay with them, regardless of any lack of knowledge, because he says that demons will be after him and he will only draw them to his family. Jimmy doesn't fucking listen and sneaks out when Sam leaves the motel. And when Sam leaves the motel, though, he goes to consume the last of demon blood he is carrying in a flask. He's a demon bloodaholic. We saw Sam call Ruby a little bit earlier, desperate for more blood. She didn't answer him. But Sam and Dean take off to find Jimmy once they wake up and realize he's gone. And Dean's like, "Where were you?" And Sam's like, "I was getting a Pepsi." But
just one Pepsi.
But as they're driving down the road, all of a sudden Anna pops in the car behind them, scaring the shit out of Dean, making him swerve all over the place. And she warns that demons will indeed be pursuing Jimmy, as he may know the important information Castiel was going to tell Dean. And Anna also notices that something about Sam is very different. We see Jimmy arrive at his house and go in the door, and his wife is like, "What the fuck? Where have you been?" And she decides to let him stay for a meal with her after talking to him for a minute and to see his daughter. During the meal, their neighbor Roger stops by, and he's like, "Jimmy, it's been a long time, buddy. Where you been?" If anybody couldn't see this coming. He reveals himself as a demon. And
I thought for sure he was going to say, "Hey, I've been nailing your wife."
It ain't that kind of show. This is not Cougar Town, but which at that point, Castiel, or Jimmy, I should say, beats the fuck out of Roger with some kind of, I forget what it was, but some kind of blunt instrument. But then when he goes to talk to his wife, and they turn around, and Roger's back up with his daughter at knife point. And this is when Dean and Sam pop in the door. They rescue the family, and Sam tries to exorcise one of the demons, but can't because he's too weak from not having enough blood. So they end up killing them all. And Jimmy's now understanding that he must separate from his family, and he goes to talk to them. His wife apologizes for not believing his words about angels and demons, as Jimmy tells her she was right about how he acted, as everything would have been fine. He tells her he has to go. She begs him to stay, but he can't. And Demon Sam steal a car for Amelia and Claire to go leave in. A little bit later, while Dean and Sam are driving Jimmy out of town, he gets a call that his family has been captured by demons. Who saw that coming? And so they go to where the demons are holding Jimmy's family. He pleads to the heavens for Castiel to not abandon them and to come help him. But him and the boys are both captured by demons, one of whom is possessing his wife. The demon that is possessing his wife shoots him in the gut and orders the other demons to kill Claire. At that moment, in what was the best scene in the whole fucking episode.
Hmm.
Castiel possesses Claire, the daughter, who quickly attacks the demons, destroying them using Castiel using his angelic powers, and Sam and Jean joining the fight, and Sam takes the opportunity to bite one of the demons and drink their blood like a fucking vampire, which is seen by Dean and Castiel in the daughter's body to their horror. And he uses his recharged powers to finally exorcise the demon possessing Amelia. But in the process, he also saves her life because that's the only way to save the life of a demon you're killing. But as Jimmy is laying dying, Castiel, who's still in Claire's body, confronts him by saying that he kept his promise to protect Jimmy's family. Castiel tells him that Claire is like her father, something in her blood makes her special, and he will use her as his vessel. Jimmy begs him to possess him instead, despite Castiel warnings that it will be painful and that he will never die or age. Jimmy agrees if it means protecting his child, and Castiel agrees and possesses him again. As Castiel leaves, Dean asks him what he wanted to tell him, but Castiel rebuffs him after his return from heaven, saying he doesn't serve man or Dean, only heaven, showing that he has lost his doubts from previous episodes. And back on the road, we see Sam waiting for a response from Dean, waiting for him to say anything about the blood drinking revelation. And Dean's just like, I'm tired, I don't care, whatever. He's just blowing it all off. And Sam gets a call from Bobby at that point saying he needs to see them. And they get to Bobby's place. And as he's like, I got something in the panic room, I got to show you guys. And as soon as he tells Sam to go in and check it out first, and as soon as Sam goes in, they lock him inside. And this is a setup by Bobby and Dean to detox Sam. And Sam's, at the episode ends, they're shutting the door and locking all the trap doors up. And Sam's begging them to be let out. And this pretty much, and we see a nice little clip segment at the end of what's coming in the next episode.
I think that was the first time, right, where it says coming soon.
I think, maybe, but I could be wrong. But yeah, so I would honestly rate this episode a 3.7. It was good for storyline, but do we really need to hear the story of who Castiel possessed? Not really. It's not something that's important to the storyline.
I liked it. I give it a 4.
I mean, the best part of it is the whole freaking daughter getting possessed and Sam drinking the blood out of the neck.
I liked when he came out before they went in and got caught, when he went out and he's pleading for Castiel, saying, you told me you'd protect my family. But we did find out, too, that Castiel, like in the beginning, they said that his bloodline allowed him to be possessed by the angels, and then it would make sense that his daughter was possessed, too. But did his daughter ask for the angel? That they weren't very clear about that.
No, she didn't. The daughter was unconscious at the point, but it was just the vessel that he could actually do shit in at that point because Jimmy was shot. But I don't know. I thought it was a pretty good episode, and I'm more excited about what's to come in the next week. Well, next 2 weeks.
Yeah, buddy.
We got the end of the season, and we got the new season coming up. So, fuck yeah! It's the beginning of one of the it's the beginning of one of the best seasons of Supernatural, in my opinion. So, well, actually, in a very highly regarded opinion, the next 2 seasons are two of the best seasons of Supernatural, and a lot of people think it should have ended after season 6, but.
Yeah, I thought it started going downhill after 5. Or after 7, after 7.
I don't think so, but I tend to like the past 7 phases. But it becomes more fan service, and it's more, they give the watchers what they want to see. But folks, that's going to do it for this week. We thank you, and we hope you come back in a week, next Thursday, to check out our regular scheduled time. Next episode of Paranormal Primetime. Have a good night, everybody.
Take it easy.